And if it does, it does. I'm going to make my play late and capitalize and taking as much value as I possibly can. But I completely get what the move is all about. That and the fact that everybody sees Boston evening up this series.
Sure. And this is my other question that I wanted to ask you about this one, Mark, because with the extended layoff, the narrative that I've heard is that this favors Boston, clearly favors Boston because Boston played the 7-game series before. And now they finally get a little bit of chance to rest up. My question to you is, when you have a team like Miami with a leader like Jimmy Butler.
I do my Jimmy Stewart impression right now, but I can't. But go ahead.
We don't need it. Like Jimmy Butler. Is it a situation where the extra rest is likely to favor the team that was more tired, or is the team coming off a loss going to get a benefit from stewing about it for a few extra days? What's your take on that?
Well, my take, Teddy, is simply that I think rest favors teams in Game 2 that were out of an extended Game 7 series before. If that rest occurs in Game 2, I think it's beneficial to them, much more so when you go drill down deep into the playoffs. Now we're in Game 4. These teams are in playoff mode right now. And if you interviewed them and asked them how they felt about the rest, they'd likely say, what rest are you talking about? We're ready and we're prepared for this basketball game. So I think it's much, much more desirable to have that extra rest between Game 1 and Game 2.
He's Mark Lawrence. Mark Lawrence, I get your playbook every week. It's so good. Thank you for emailing it to me.
My pleasure, as always, Lawrence. Let me know if you come up with any extra winners. If it finds one of them for you, it was well worth it.
Yeah, that's for sure. And I don't know if you listen to the show much, but Ralph Michaels is often quoting stats from that playbook, a world-class publication. Congratulations. NFL, Mark. Panthers plus 6.5 versus Chargers, 44. I think this is an interesting game. I don't know yet who's going to start for the Chargers. Panthers are injured all over the place, and their weapon is out for a while. Who do you like in this one?
I'd be really surprised if the Chargers don't go right back to Justin Herbert for his second start in this football game. He played really well in his first start, and that's usually what you see with a prized, either a rookie or an MVP type player on the team. When they're in a lineup, the team will rally around them in that first start. If Herbert makes this start here in week number 2, now suddenly there's game film on him, and I think that would work against the Chargers in this football game. You've got a team here that in the Chargers that rallied and very nearly beat Kansas City, only to lose in overtime, and that could, I think, cause a little bit of a devastating effect more than a positive one for them. You look at the other side, the Carolina Panthers. Here's a football team that has started 0-2. They've lost the game on the scoreboard twice. They've lost the money twice, but they won the yards in both of those football games. If you put tape over their record here, you'd think this football team was 2-0. They played very, very well. And in Teddy Bridgewater, you've got a quarterback that is simply the best money winner in the NFL, 28-9 all-time as a starter. I think Carolina, with those hidden stats and the points, become the play in this game.
I want to ask you this about Teddy Bridgewater because, again, he has an extraordinary point spread record throughout the course of his career. He could lose the next 10 starts, ATS, and still have an extraordinary point spread record over the course of his career. He's already 0-2 ATS this year. Do you think that the time to make money with blindly betting Bridgewater has come and gone, or do you think Teddy Bridgewater is going to continue to be an undervalued commodity, not just this week, beyond for Carolina?
Well, that's a great question, Teddy. And the question here becomes, do you continue to ride the Teddy Bridgewater bandwagon, or is it time to get off, as you say? I'm going to say stay on Teddy Bridgewater simply because the numbers he put up his first 2 games were terrific numbers. He didn't lose those 2 football games to the money because of poor performance or poor play. He lost the football games because the Carolina Panthers just couldn't find a way to win the games, but they performed really, really well on the field. So as long as Carolina performs statistically well behind Teddy Bridgewater, I'll continue to remain on the bandwagon.
Mark, me and you look at that loss to Kansas City a little differently. I think it might galvanize the team. I think any team who is playing Kansas City at this point, other than Baltimore on Monday, that can get it into overtime. I think they got to go into the dressing room. They got to go into the week feeling like, hey, this is the Super Bowl champs. This is the best team in the league. We took them to overtime. Could have won the game. Stupid call on 4th and 1 as well, but that's a different story. I don't know, man. I think it's going to galvanize San Diego, Los Angeles, and I think the Chargers. I can't back the Panthers in this game.
Well, let me say this, Lawrence, and I understand completely where you're coming from as far as a vote of confidence goes for the Chargers off that Chiefs game last week. But I live by my database, okay? I told you I don't go to bed without it. I wake up with it. And in my database, obviously, I'm going to chart teams in the National Football League in overtime performances and what to expect the next week from these teams.
Interesting.
And the simple fact of the matter is teams who lose in overtime and dress up as home favorites the next week really, really struggle to the spread. So that's the bit of support that I have in fading the Chargers, but I can understand where you stand. If that game hadn't gone to overtime, okay, and it had just been a close call defeat, I can see exactly where you're coming from. But I think overtime takes the edge and puts it in our favor here.
Oh, that's a great point. And, it's going to keep me off of the game because I can't play Carolina. You're saying I can't play the Chargers either. Mississippi plus 14 and a hook against Florida. 57 is the total. Where are you going in this one?
Well, this, as you know, Lawrence, is Lane Kiffin's debut with the Rebels. He's back in the Southeast Conference, Lane Kiffin, where he angled to be when he took the job at Florida Atlantic, and he finally makes the destination back to where he wanted to be. I'll say this, Lane Kiffin knows the SEC quite well. He was a head coach at Tennessee. He was a longtime offensive coordinator with Nick Saban at Alabama. He won't be intimidated in this football game at all. And also take a look at Lane Kiffin in his career as a head coach. 4 times he's been a double-digit underdog, and 4 times he's won the money in each and every game. Take a look at the Florida Gators. They're a really, really popular team. A lot of people think that they could end up maybe even winning the SEC this year. But sometimes when all those expectations are as high as they are with the Florida Gators this year, it kind of puts a damper on it. Look at the Cleveland Browns last year. All those expectations they had, what they do, they laid an egg in game 1 as a favorite. Florida, look at their tendencies in the past. They struggled in this series here. They split the last 6 games. They've lost the money 5 of those 6 football games. And in game 1 to start a season, Florida has won the money in only 10 out of 24 times against the spread. Slow starters, the Florida Gators. I look for a big effort by the Rebels. I'll take them plus the 14.5 in this contest.
So to me, this is weird. All right. The NFL didn't seem that weird. The NBA I got used to in about 2 days. MLB was the same way. But college football, we're seeing SEC conference games with teams that haven't suited up yet. We've got the season like week 1, you have 3 games, and week 2, you have 13, and week 3, there's more and more games and teams that we haven't seen before. How are you approaching in your database these very unique situations where, yeah, these are conference games, but normally they have a bunch of warm-up games before that. This year they don't. Or is it just a non-factor and both teams are dealing with the same situation?
Teddy, you're the kind of a guy that in a Donald Trump press conference, I would love to receive your questions because they're all astute questions. They're very, very good questions, okay? And in the case like the Southeast Conference, without games under their belt, I'm going to the coaches, okay? I'm going to handicap coaching first and foremost. I've expressed that before on the show, and this is what gets me to this game here with Lane Kiffin having the incentive in this football game. Dan Mullen has had his share of success both with Mississippi State and with Florida, but this is a big Lane Kiffin play for me here. He's here for a reason. He's making a boatload of money, and I'm sure you're going to get his best effort. So that's my answer, Teddy. I'm going to the team, the coach that has the reason to come and play in this game.
Teddy, any other questions for Mark?
No, man, that's great stuff. I love having Mark on. He's, his analysis is spot on, and he's firing back at my questions, which I appreciate. I don't want easy questions. This isn't a situation where I want to be able to knee-jerk answers. To have a show where we can talk about some of the strategies that we go through, I think is very helpful to our viewing audience. So I appreciate you sharing how you think on this, Mark.
Well, that's great, Teddy. And I call it NSA. No softballs allowed, okay? Just tough questions because we want to come up with tough answers.
Mark, I'm on the phone. It's Pat Riley. He wants his hair back.
He wants his hair back? Well, tell him I'll trade him. I'll trade him his stock for my stock, okay?
He's Mark Lawrence. You can find him at sportsmemo.com. I cannot thank you enough for joining us. Be well, my friend.
Hey, you guys be well. Have a great week. I'll look forward to catching up with you next week here on Wager Talk.
Let's take a quick break. Teddy's right back with his 6 Ps.
This Sunday, Marco is releasing his 5% NFL Game of the Month. Marco normally sells his rare 5% plays for $40. This week, he's offering all his Sunday NFL selections in one package, highlighted by his 5% NFL Game of the Month for just $39. Marco went 7-3 last Saturday and Sunday, and his rare 5% max plays are 4-1 the last 5. Don't miss the golden money-making opportunity and head over to WagerTalk.com now to receive this special NFL Game of the Month package.
Welcome back to Wager Talk Today. Ted Savransky, Teddy Covers, and Lawrence Presman, the Prez, breaking down the world of sports and sports betting for you on this Wednesday. And let's talk a little bad beats, bad bets, and bad for the books. Recap what happened last night. And I'll tell you what, this wasn't a good weekend for the books in the NFL. And it certainly was not a great night for the books on Tuesday either. They lost basically all of the bigger decisions. Nuggets and over. That wasn't a great result for the house, side or total. Denver got bet down up to, there was plus 6.5 down to plus 6. The total got bet up to 215. There was light money line action as well. So bettors got the right side with the Nuggets, with the over, and with the money line. WNBA, aces and under took the money. Aces and under got the money. You can fade WNBA sharp money at your own discretion. I wouldn't. In MLB, we saw Garrett Cole on the hill against the Blue Jays for the Yankees. The Yankees win 12-1, minus 235, bet up to minus 275. Bronx Bombers were right. The Astros, the wise guys, pounded Houston yesterday, minus 170 up to 210 at Seattle. They won comfortably as well. It's not like the sharp money doesn't lay chalk with the favorites. Arizona from minus 130, bet up as high as minus 170. They won 7-0 against Texas. And San Fran, another wise guy play, sharp move, minus 125 up to minus 150. And the total got bet down from 8.5 to 7.5. Wise guys had them both right. Giants got the money, under got the money. And I'm looking around for the big games that the books won last night. Didn't find them. So it wasn't a disaster. It's not like an NFL Sunday where everything comes through when you're talking about a Tuesday night in September and the books lose all the major decisions. That being said, bettors are doing fairly well right now across the board as we reach the beginning of the real college football season and obviously NFL Week 3 coming up this weekend. Lawrence?
Teddy, outstanding stuff, man. I love listening to you speak alone. Maybe I should call it a day. Guys, what's coming up? We've got Arthur DeCesare from Caesars. Our bookmaker will be an awesome segment. Ralph Michaels, not too far from now. He's going to focus on trends in the NFL. I want to welcome all our listeners, RV, Tabati, Sonny, Terry, and on and on and on, Brian, Jim, all the new guys. Really appreciate you guys joining us. Stay with us. The show only gets better. Teddy, I got a couple of promos to give out. One special one for me and you. The first promo is, and this is site-wide, $379 for 60-day all access. Any handicapper you want. To put that in perspective, it's $345 for a month regularly. So literally $379 for 60 days of anyone's all access plays. And Teddy, me and you, I stole this promo idea from Bet On It. Marco and Gianni gave it out last week. We're going to do this for the next few days. But basically, guys, it's buy one, get one free. If you buy 90 days at Teddy, you get 90 days of me for free. If you buy 90 days of me, you get 90 days of Teddy for free. No coupon code required for either promotion. Literally just head to the new website, WagerTalk.com. Click on any of our pages, and that promo will be there. So, Teddy, it's a 2-for-1 deal for you and me, baby. 90 days.
Yeah, sounds like a great look. We always tell people, I mean, and I'm honest about this. I would never buy a play. I don't buy plays. If you want to get involved with someone, get involved with them for an extended period of time. That'll give you a chance to see what they can do for you and your bankroll. Prez and I, not a bad combination for the upcoming football season.
Yeah, and just a quick shout out. We had some people talking in the forum yesterday. Does Teddy really hate the Prez? You want to respond to that?
It's 50-50. There are days, I mean, I've known Lawrence for a long time, and we do get along mostly, but he's really annoying. You guys see it. There are days that my eyeballs are popping out on this guy. And I'm sure sometimes it makes for some entertaining viewing for y'all. Today, not that bad a day. He's been okay so far this show.
I'm 97.3 on loving you, baby. Okay, boys, Kanye West Award. Teddy, it's got to go to Alex Caruso. Now, look, I know a lot of people turned the game off last night before the last 5 seconds of the game. NBA. The Lakers were inbounding the ball in a blowout, and there were 4 and change seconds on the clock. Denver literally had their backs turned to the ball, high-fiving each other, celebrating, and this Alex Caruso guy grabs the ball, runs, not walks, didn't hurl up a 3 on a fluke at the buzzer. He literally runs the ball down the court for a last-second meaningless layup, and it did affect gambling. The total on that second half bet pushed because of that guy and his incredibly unsportsmanlike moment. Alex Caruso, my Kanye West Award recipient. Any thoughts to that?
When you're pushing games, we talked about it. Well, on yesterday's show, we're going to talk about it on today's show. The more outs you have, the less likely you are to push, and the more likely you are to win a game by a half point. Did you shop around, Prez, for that halftime line yesterday?
I didn't bet it. I didn't. I wasn't even in play. I just.
Sure.
I didn't even know it affected.
If you had the opportunity to shop around, you should have won that even with Caruso's bucket at the buzzer. That says monumental stupidity. I don't know if that goes that far, but nonetheless, Alex Caruso, not your friend today if you had a second half under wager.
Guys, quick break. Arthur DeCesare joining us. Excited for our next segment. Stay with us, everybody.
Every Monday is $9 Mondays over at WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com. Get any best bet or daily package for only $9.
He's Teddy Covers on the Prez. You're watching us talk betting. And I love your opening on BBB, Teddy. It's so nice. It's just, you're so much better at this than I am. Arthur, love having you with us. It's a privilege to do this segment with you. I pretty much sit back and let Teddy take over, so that's what I'll do.
Yeah. Thank you, Lawrence. Yeah. Just you chill and stay out of the picture, and me and Arthur will talk for a little while. Let the grown-ups talk. How are you today, Arthur? Great to have you on the show. Of course, you can find him at ArtDice21 on Twitter. He's an excellent follow. And Arthur works at the Link Sportsbook here in Las Vegas, one of the Caesars properties. How was this last weekend in the NFL for you and college football? Biggest winners and losers? Was it as bad as I described earlier in the show?
First of all, good morning, gentlemen. Pleasure to be here. And Lawrence, I appreciate you getting my name correct this week. Very nice of you. No, Teddy, absolutely. It was not a good week, for the sports books, good week for the publics, the sharps, everybody. I would say, listen, the Chiefs would have been a great result for us if they could have lost outright, because so many things were tied into the money lines, tied into the teasers. So that Chiefs end up coming back and winning that game. That hurt us. but we actually did end on a positive note. The Raiders were very nice for us, all across the board, teasers, money lines, everything. But all in all, not a good week for the sports books.
Yeah, I know that Sunday night game with the Seahawks and over, that couldn't have been a good result because I'm sure you had a ton of parlay liability, money line parlay liability, teaser liability going to that game. And of course, a pretty good week for teasers in the NFL as well. KC covering the teaser line in overtime in that game is just one example. I want to ask about the Raiders. What do you got on that, Arthur?
Yeah, I mean, we've had this discussion a couple times on the show, and even last year, with the Raiders being the local team, there's definitely going to be a lot of Raider money. But, the Raiders were actually someone we were rooting for on Monday. So I noticed that in our sportsbook, there were a ton of people actually from New Orleans who booked their tickets, months ago before all this COVID and everything, and they just never canceled their trips. So we actually had a ton of Saints people in our building. All of our sports fan caves in the link were rented out by Saints fans. So we saw a ton of Saints money. And then overall, like I said, we really did need the Raiders.
Yeah, because you're going to be in a very unique position when it comes to the Raiders in particular. And Vegas in general, I think, is going to be in a difficult position with the Raiders because the locals casinos are going to take Raiders money every week. The strip casinos are not going to take Raiders money every week, as you found out with that, Monday Night Football showdown. So to say, what's the line in Vegas? I think there's legitimately going to be a week-by-week differential between what you're hanging on the strip and what some of the locals books are hanging on the outskirts that are catering to a bunch of Raiders fans. Do you agree?
Teddy, 100%. I think, and you can't compare them because obviously we're talking NHL and NFL, but even the Knights games, Knights games are juiced heavily here, compared to other sports books, New Jersey, whatever other state you want to go to. But being on the strip, you get a lot of the local fans. Edmonton's in town, so a lot of people are betting Edmonton on the strip, whereas the local casinos might see a ton more night money. Obviously, the NFL is way bigger than the NHL, but yeah, that's going to be very interesting to watch all year, and it's going to be even more interesting to watch probably next year when we actually have fans, and the fans can come here from the other teams. Let's say they're playing the Jets and all the Jets fans, or they're playing the Cowboys and all the Cowboy fans. So that's going to be really interesting to see what happens next year as well. And moving forward, it's going to be interesting to watch the Raiders and where the money goes.
And Arthur, you told me last week that their name was misspelled, and I didn't double check to correct it. It's my fault. Arthur DeCesare, and that's 100% my fault. I apologize. It's not Joe's fault. It's not Prez's fault. You brought it to me, and I never brought it up. But it will be fixed next week. DeCesare. It's not that you can say Savransky, and spell it. It's not that hard to say DeCesare and spell that one either. 100% my fault. Let's look forward instead of backward. All right. We have NBA action tonight. We have NHL action tonight. What are you seeing? What are you dealing at the link right now when it comes to the early money for Heat and Celtics, as well as the Lightning and the Stars?
Yeah, Teddy, right now, let's start with the NBA. Celtic money. It was Celtic money last game. I think a lot of people expect it to be a long series. So a lot of people are on the Celtics. I think even before the series started, people like the Celtics. So we've seen some Celtics money, Celtics -3. I still think the Heat, I like the Heat in that series. I wouldn't mind taking the Heat +3 or even taking the Heat money line. As far as the NHL goes, listen, I've been on Tampa from the beginning, but Dallas is definitely a live dog. I think taking them, at +130, 135, +140, there's nothing wrong with taking that roll of the dice. Dallas, even coming back in game 2 and making that a game, they showed that they are a game team. And first game was a push, second game was an under. So there's definitely people are on the under, but the over is juiced, -130. So, I think people in the hockey game lean more towards the underdog and probably towards the under.
So
Arthur, I got a
NBA,
quick.
Go
ahead, Teddy. Yeah,
No,
Arthur,
you go.
I am going. Fight, Teddy? Should we duel?
I'd love to. I'm a lover,
Oh,
not a
me
fighter.
too.
Are you kidding?
Dude, we should do a duel like on WagerTalk Today. When I come to Vegas, we'll just video the whole thing. Arthur, I got a question for you that I'm curious about personally, and that is, any wise action coming in on NFL this Sunday that we should know about, that, you know, some money down on a play that I can jump on and tag along?
Yeah, Lawrence, I think the couple games where I've seen the movement so far, we've seen movement on the Colts. Colts were 9.5; they're now 10.5. I don't even think that's a pro Colt bet. I think that's just an anti-Jet bet. And the Monday night game has seen the total move a point from 52.5, 53 to 53.5, 54 on the Ravens Chiefs. People expecting a lot of points in that. And let me say, we're so happy that the Chiefs and Ravens are playing each other this week, because we are going to experience a ton of teasers on those two teams all year with the money lines and this, that, and the other. So we get a break this week and having those teams play each other, because they're going to be tough all year for us.
I do got one more follow-up, and then Teddy, you can take over. Arthur, we do a lot of shows over at Wager Talk. We're speaking constantly to all these guys that are bettors. They come into our YouTube chat. It feels to me like proposition bets are becoming bigger and bigger by the day. I have been in Links and in Caesars and in all these sports books, and God, 2-3 years ago, you couldn't show up on a Wednesday and make a prop bet on a baseball game. Is this something that is just getting generally bigger and bigger in the betting world, or is it just really still such a small area of volume for you guys?
Lawrence, that's a great question, but I will answer it this way. I think it's still small. People are still betting their sides, their totals. They love their teasers, their parlays. But I will say this, with the younger generation coming in, I see so many of the young kids coming, 21, 22, 23. They're young. They love props. Hey, you got LeBron James for a triple-double tonight, or do you have, Jokic's over assists? So I think the young guys are going to push the props more and more. And like you said, a handful of years ago, you couldn't go into sports books and see props on, NBA playoff games or Sunday night football or Monday night football. We have them now on all those games. So now, is it a regular season NBA game we're going to have the props? No. But I think eventually you will get to that point where you see it, because like I said, it's the younger generation who is pushing for the props. I'm not a prop guy myself, but, the younger guys are going to push that. So we're going to see more and more of it.
We got just a few minutes left here with Arthur DeCesare, race and sports supervisor at the Link Sports, one of the Caesars properties here in Las Vegas. And, Arthur, this was the #1 show on YouTube yesterday for people searching for free sports picks. You got any opinions here? Let's talk Thursday night football. What have you seen for the Dolphins and the Jaguars? You got a take on that game?
Man, that's, obviously these Thursday night games aren't the greatest games sometimes, but I will say this, the Jaguars have been surprising. Obviously they shocked the Colts week 1, and the Dolphins, despite being 0-2, easily could have covered week 1 against the Patriots and did cover last week against the Bills. I like the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins, they're well coached. I think they play hard for that coach. I don't know, maybe the Jaguars, maybe they've run out of steam in 2 weeks and it's like, okay, they get back to the team we thought was going to win 2 games. I personally would take the points. I like it at 3 if I can get it, and maybe sprinkle a little on the money line. But, if I'm getting the Dolphins at 3, I would take a shot with the Dolphins.
And last question for you. I want to ask about college football. Obviously, the SEC in play this weekend, the Big 12 in play this weekend. We finally have some quote-unquote real college football action. Are you seeing the difference in the handle as a result? Are the marquee matchups drawing the type of attention they would have drawn last year? Or is it still, light action in college football like it's been the first couple of weeks?
No, yeah, Teddy, as we've talked, obviously it's been a little light so far, but, once the big boys come to play, LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, the SEC, the SEC is king. So people are going to be betting SEC football this week. It's a little light right now, but I think as we move closer to Saturday, we'll see more and more action coming in on the SEC. And honestly, it's just great to have the SEC back. I feel like this weekend will probably feel like the real first Saturday. So it's going to be interesting to watch, and I can't wait to be in the sportsbook on Saturday.
Arthur, real pleasure having you on. Oh, yeah, Teddy.
I got one last one because
you're annoying me.
My fault. Everything's my fault today. It won't be the last time. But I actually wanted to follow up on your question, Prez, which you were talking about the handle on the props. And now we're seeing props for more game. When it comes to the overall handle you guys are taking, the limits are real low on those props, right? You're not, when it comes to limit bets, you're not taking multi-dime wagers on props. So a lot of people get involved, but the bet sizes are much smaller. Is that correct?
Teddy, 100%. You hit it right on the head. I mean, listen, we'll have a guy who might take, Mahomes over 1.5 touchdowns for 1,000, 1,500, whatever. But yes, props generally, they generate the, $5, $10, $20 bettors. A lot of people like betting on first touchdown scored, things, that, and the other. But once again, I really think props are going to start moving forward and forward. Now, are we going to get to a point where we're taking, 5,500 on a prop? Probably not. But all that stuff adds up. All those $20, $100 bets add up. So yes, the prop limits are low, but you see more and more of these people wanting props and asking for props.
Arthur, I'm actually going to ask you another question because we at WagerTalk.
We're never going to let them go.
Teddy, shut up. Shut up, Teddy. Arthur, we at WagerTalk, we're trying to provide the best betting information on the planet. We knew that props were becoming a thing. We got Matt Joseph over at Sports Memo, 6-1 this past Sunday in props. He does baseball props. He's like 70% in them. Andrew McGinnis at WagerTalk killing it in props. Do we need to find ourselves an esports expert? Is this a thing?
Oh, Lawrence, you're talking to the wrong guy. Esports is foreign to me. I understand it's, once again, it's for the young people, blah, 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 all that stuff. I couldn't answer that esports question. There are people smarter than me who know the answer to that. Listen, maybe it gets there. I'm a sports guy. I'm a nuts and bolts football, baseball, basketball, hockey guy. So I'll probably I haven't even gotten into UFC. That's how, quote unquote, old school I am. So to me, esports is way above my pay grade. So I don't know, but hey, if there's gambling on it, people are going to find a way to find an edge or bet it or, throw a couple shekels down. So yeah, maybe esports takes off eventually.
He's Arthur DeCesare, and we are richer for having you on the show every Wednesday. He's with us. Guys, hit that like button. Arthur, thanks so much for joining us, my friend. It's a real pleasure.
Gentlemen, the pleasure's all mine. We'll speak next week.
Quick commercial break. Teddy's back with his big game breakdown, and Ralph Michaels to talk NFL TNA.
Football is here, and the Gold Sheet, the nation's oldest sports betting newsletter, is back for its 63rd year, bigger and better than ever. Gold Sheet has a new, improved web-based, mobile-friendly format that includes all of the winning information you rely on with the easiest access ever. While the format is new, all of the features you are accustomed to are still there. That's right, analysis on every pro and college game, key release selections, updated power ratings on every team, point spread logs for all NFL and college teams, and all college football games through May 2021 will be included. To celebrate joining the WagerTalk family, we are offering our subscribers our best deal ever. Sign up for a season of any Gold Sheet product and get $200 in wager bucks as a bonus. Wager bucks can be used to purchase handicapping information from any of our 40-plus experts on WagerTalk or sportsmemo.com. Head to goldsheet.com/WagerTalk for any subscription and bonus details.
It's big game breakdown time here on WagerTalk Today. I'm going to talk about some Thursday night football, UAB and South Alabama, the Blazers and the Jaguars. Right now, we're seeing UAB about a 7-point road favorite. Total 47.5. This is an in-state, I'm not going to call it an in-state rivalry, but it is developing into an in-state rivalry. Last year was the first time these two teams had met, and it was a very one-sided game, 35-3, UAB over South Alabama. It wasn't close on the scoreboard. It wasn't close in the box score. It was a very one-sided affair. Now, since that game, I have to say the trajectory for South Alabama has been better. They have been covering numbers. They've been very good in this road dog role. I got them, 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 under the third-year head coach Steve Campbell. And, of course, we talk about bad programs and what we expect improvement. Third year is when you expect improvement from teams like South Alabama. The interesting thing about this game is that both teams have significant quarterback issues. All right. Jaguars, they're going to be starting the JUCO transfer Chance Lovertick this week. They started Desmond Trotter the first 2 games, but he's been battling a shoulder injury. He's not expected to play here. And Lovertick has come off the bench. They've been alternating QBs. He's been solid, 20 of 32, 311, and 3 touchdowns, although he hasn't faced the toughest of competition that well. Although he did play well against Tulane last time out. He did throw a couple of touchdown passes in that ballgame. So you have the replacement QB there. You have a replacement QB on the other side as well for UAB, who has made a change at the quarterback position. They're dealing with some issues. They're going with the Frosh, Bryson Lucero. Johnston out this week. Tyler Johnston's he had an injury to his non-throwing shoulder. That basically played the whole game against Miami, and they're like, oh, by the way, you're hurt. We have seen the Frosh have some game action so far. And in a situation where you're looking at 2 defenses that aren't elite and 2 quarterbacks who the opposing coordinators don't have film on, the knee-jerk reaction is often bet the under. I like playing overs in games like this one because they don't have the film on the QB, because we have a couple of QBs who aren't regarded as elite but have game experience. And then I'm not going to say either UAB or South Alabama has an elite defense to go against. So my gut reaction here is take a good, long, hard look at the over on Thursday night as UAB plays South Alabama. Like I said, right now, that total's 47.5. And with the QB changes, I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of money driving this total upward. So the lean is over 47.5, South Alabama and UAB. That's our big game breakdown. Back to you, Prez.
Thank you, Teddy. And what a show it's been so far. Taking apart all the important games, found out where the money is lying. Ralph Michaels coming up in literally a minute to talk TNA on about NFL Sunday. Just some business to take care of, guys. The NFL presidential address, Ralph Michaels, myself, Matt Joseph, today, 4 p.m. Eastern. Make sure to check that out. We also have the NBA show at 3 p.m., the baseball show at 2 p.m., and Bet On It goes tonight, so make sure to stay tuned. We are providing, 5-6 hours a day of content. The new website is up. I need everyone to know if you find mistakes on the new website or you have any suggestions, email us at our customer support email address. We are giving out $25 a wager bucks to anybody who gets involved in helping us make that site better. As well, make sure to get the 2-for-1 promo. If you buy Teddy for 90 days, you get me. If you buy me for 90 days, you get Teddy. Just head over to WagerTalk.com. It's right on our Capper pages. Ralph Michaels, I can take a breath. You are a god to me. Thank you for your time.
Hey, guys, I just want to say, all you listeners, if you're going to take advantage of that special, buy Teddy for the 90 days because Prez doesn't need the money. That way Prez doesn't get any sales money. You'll just get his plays for free. So buy Teddy, get Prez for free. Don't do it the opposite way around.
Well, such a great point. So basically, Teddy, here's what just went down to summarize. Our good friend Ralph, now nicknamed the Professor, comes on the show, points out that I'm rich and you're broke and wants you to make the money. Okay. Everyone, please buy Teddy and get me for free. I'm 100% behind you, Ralph.
All right, guys.
Two issues there.
Okay.
I got to jump in. Two issues there. One, you are richer than me. Yes. You have family that has money that my family doesn't have. Fact. I ain't broke. All right.
I know you're not. I know you're not broke.
And number two is that I don't think it matters, does it? We split the revenue anyway.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we're playing around.
No, that's it.
And you know what, Teddy?
Whatever Ralph says, do.
Forget Ralph. Ralph, we're putting you on hold for a sec. Teddy, I don't really appreciate the fact that you get on the show here and you tell the world that my success is based on my family having money.
That's not what I said. I said you have family money and I don't. There's a difference.
I do not have family money, people.
All right, I have a lot of crap. I have a lot of crap to go over. So stop, both of you.
Please,
here we go.
Ralph, take it over. Take it over.
I am going off script, guys, because of this. We do the presidential address every Wednesday. You guys got to watch. Mid-Major Matt knows his players. He knows his player props. We break down the games. But in the presidential address, I do a TNA segment. And I want to basically go through what you are missing each week in the NFL if you don't tune into the presidential address and get this TNA segment. I'm going to run through 3, Teddy, get any feedback from you, and then run back some more. Teddy, yesterday you asked me to run some O2s versus O2s and 2Os versus 2Os. Sometimes I try to get too specific. Sometimes I just have to dumb it down and look at the basics. How about this? Since 2014, if you just blindly bet on an 0-2 team, you are 29-16 against the spread, 64%. If you are betting on an 0-2 team against a team with 1 or more win, you are now 24-11 ATS, 69%. And listen to this. If that 0-2 team is a dog of 3.5 or more, you are 15-4 ATS, 79%. The 0-2 versus 0-2s, we did mention yesterday. Since 2005, if an 0-2 is playing an 0-2 team, they've gone over the total 69%. If the total is 46 or less, they've gone over the total 79%. So how about this in week 3? Let's look at teams. Week 1, you're up in the air. It's indifferent how you play. You have all that time to prep. But in week 3, how about teams that were home for week 2, home for week 3, against a team that was on the road for week 2 and on the road for week 3? Blindly, you play those home teams. You are 24-13, 65% against the spread. And listen to this. If the home team is a dog of 1 point to a favorite of 10, so basically you're a very small dog or a single-digit favorite, home for a second straight against road for a second straight, 21-6 against the spread, 78%. That applies to Cleveland, the Chargers, Philadelphia, and Arizona. Any comments on those before I move on?
So I want to get the first 2 that you went to. All right. I was most interested in 0-2 versus 2-0. But when you come up with a stat that says if you blindly play these 0-2 teams catching points, you're cashing it better. What was it, 24-11? Which were the teams that fall into that category this week?
You know what? I didn't write those teams down, Teddy. So sorry. I'm gonna make you guys work a little bit. But the 0-2s, the 0-2s as a dog of 3.5 or more are 15-4, 79%. I'm going to go through one more, Teddy, while you're looking. How about teams that have failed to reach 300 yards in each of their first 2 games? That's both the Giants and the Jets. So you're 0-2. You failed to reach 300 yards in each of your games. Your offense is embarrassing. You have injuries like the Giants do. Well, those teams since 1989, 32 years, are 54%. When they are a dog, an 0-2 dog that hasn't reached 300 yards, they're 56.1%. And when they're a home dog like the Jets are, 0-2 home dogs that have failed to reach 300 yards their first 2 games, 65% against the spread, including 7-1, 77% since 2011.
Just real quick,
Commentary, or
Ralph,
am I
I got to
gonna
jump in.
keep
That's the
going?
Giants, not
Go
the
ahead.
Jets. That's the Giants who are the home dogs this week, not the Jets. The Jets are road dogs.
Thank you. The Giants and the Jets both fit the situation. Both are dogs, but the Giants are, of course, the home dog. No. Oh, Giants are the home dog in San Francisco with everyone complaining about the field. My apologies.
Yes.
Okay. Week 3. You won as a dog week 1. You won as a dog since week 2. Since 2004, there's only been 12 teams that have won as a dog each of the first 2 weeks. Now, they are 9-2-1 ATS, 81%. This may not fall into the category just depending on how you do lines. The Rams would be the team. The Rams, switched favorites week 1, switched favorites game 2, but the mentality is still there, I believe, that the Rams felt they were an underdog in those 2 games. So if you won as a dog week 1 and week 2, if you want to count the Rams in that situation, they are 9-2-1 ATS, 81%. So I always, if I'm looking at one side, looking what happens if a team won as a dog games 1 and 2, what am I going to do? I'm going to look at the teams that lost as the favorite games 1 and 2. Well, that's Philadelphia. Since 1995, only 14 teams have lost as the favorite weeks 1 and week 2 in the NFL. They have bounced back to go 8-5-1 against the spread, 61.5%. 2 more. This isn't a week 3. This is a season-long one, which I do like, and I just want to mention now. If you were outgained and you won as a dog, in my mind, I would want to fade you because you won a game, you got outgained, you probably had the turnover edge. But those teams that were outgained and won as a dog since 2015 have gone 85-57, 60% against the spread. That's the Rams and the Raiders. And if they are a favorite after that situation, no teams apply this week, but I want to mention it. They're 38-18, 68%. And the final one, we talked about scoring being up in the NFL. I went back to 1989, so 32 years. Only 23 times have teams scored 33 or more points weeks 1 and weeks 2. 23 times in 32 years. Guess what? 4 teams this year. Raiders, Packers, Seahawks, Ravens. Those teams, 75% against the spread, 80% to the over. Only a 16-game sample size, so 12-4 ATS, 12-3-1 over-under. But obviously it makes sense. If teams are scoring 33 back-to-back games, don't fade them to have a low-scoring game coming into week number 4. So I ran by those quickly. That's just a sample of the TNA segment on the presidential address that Prez, Mid-Major Matt, and I do each and every Wednesday live at 4 o'clock Eastern.
Ralph, thank you so much, dude, for plugging our show. Last week, 15,000 people logged in to watch the NFL presidential address. And guys, it's today, 4 p.m. Eastern. Teddy, I'm on my way to get glasses, man. It's time. I'm a little emotional about the whole thing.
I mean, I've had it since I was like 6, so I'm very used to them by now. They're a pain in the ass when you first have them. I don't recommend glasses. They get smudgy.
What am I supposed to do?
But in Toronto, you'll have the fun with glasses in the winter are fun, dude. Every time you walk in and out everywhere, especially for a smoker, you're walking outside, you have a quick cigarette, you walk in, your glasses fog off, out and in and out and in. You need windshield wipers on them. It's a nightmare. That's why one more reason why living in Vegas is better.
Well, listen, I agree. I mean, I have a soft spot for Las Vegas. Ralph, thanks for joining us. Teddy, you are the best. Guys, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to be with us every day, Monday to Friday. I want to let everybody know Ralph, Teddy, and I will have a big announcement in the next few days. Stay tuned and put in your calendar 1 p.m. Eastern next Thursday. We'll fill you in as we get closer. Teddy, take us home.
Sure. Thank you so much. Mark Lawrence for joining us, Arthur DeCesare for joining us, and of course Ralph Michaels, who's on the show each and every day. We want to thank all three of our fine guests. Want to thank you, our viewing audience, and everyone out there in the chat. Enjoy the games. Good luck tonight. We'll be back again on WagerTalk Today in 23 hours and 5 minutes, 9 a.m. Pacific Time, noon Eastern, tomorrow. Enjoy. Thanks for watching.
This Saturday, Yanni will be releasing his first 5% play of the college football season. Yanni has released 23 plays and he's cashed 61% of them. Yanni has increased his clients' bankrolls by over 150% in all sports combined in 2020. Get all of his Saturday college football plays, including the 5% big move, for only $39.